What's up YouTube? So we're back in the garage for another episode of Vic's Vehicles, and today I'm going to do my first upgrade on this Camry wagon. So today I'm going to be upgrading the wheels and tires. So my stock setup is a 14-inch steel wheel with hubcaps and 195/70 ratio tires. You know, this is a really small setup, and it kind of like makes a car look a little dinky. Like they're really small wheels and they just don't look that good. So what I want to do actually is put on another set of Toyota wheels actually belonging to a Toyota Avalon. So this right here is a new Avalon wheel. It's a 16-inch versus the stock 14-inch, and then also it's riding a much bigger tire. This is a 205/60 versus the 195/70, and the overall diameter of this is 25.7 inches versus 24.7. So it's an inch taller in diameter. But hopefully it'll give the wagon much stronger presence on the road. Another thing to note is this setup is going to be a little heavier. I weighed the stock setup and it's about 36 pounds with the stock steel wheel and the tire, whereas here it's a 44-pound setup. So you are gaining 8 pounds per corner. Again, this is not a lightweight aftermarket performance wheel. It's a stock heavy alloy. But you know what, these stock wheels, they can take some abuse, and then we still got a fat sidewall here, so it should be plenty fine to absorb all those bumps on the road. Alright guys, so I'm going to start with the front wheel, so let's go ahead and get this guy off. Alright guys, so one of the first things you'll notice is that you can't use the same lug nuts that came with the stock wheels. That's because it's acorn type, whereas what you really need is a mag seat type. So make sure you pick up a set of these. They're much different than the original ones. And then once you get your lug nuts loosely on, you just want to make sure you torque it down to the proper torque spec with a torque wrench. In this case, we're going to do 75 foot-pounds. Alright guys, the wheel is on, and the one last thing to do is apply the center cap. Nice. And then the good part is it did clear the strut tower. Because this was a wider tire and a wider rim, I was a little worried that I might not be able to clear the struts. In the front, we actually have a lot of clearance, and you can see that right here. But the back, it's a different story. So let me show you how much clearance we have in the back and what we might need to do to make sure we can fit a wider tire back there. Alright guys, I was a little worried about the clearance in the back. You guys saw how earlier just how little there was between the tire and the strut. But you know, as you can see in the video, this tire is spinning freely, and then there's no rubbing anywhere. So I bought 3mm spacers just in case I needed that tiny bit of extra clearance, but I'm kind of glad I don't need them, but you know, in case I do want to widen the stance a little bit in the back, at least I do have the option to fit spacers if need be. Alright guys, this is the final result, and as you can see, this is definitely a major upgrade in the styling. I really like the way the car sits now, and these 16-inch Avalon wheels really kind of sets this Camry off. And then I gotta say, I really like the tires I picked too. They're the Bridgestone Turanza Quiettracks. And I hate to say it, but you know, they are a pretty quiet tire. I was going down the road 60 miles an hour, and then I can barely hear any road noise at all. Most of the noise I heard was probably wind noise. So I definitely do like these tires. They're quiet, they absorb the bumps really well, they're not too stiff. So if you're looking for a basic all-season tire, definitely consider the Turanza Quiettrack. Another nice benefit that I got was I actually got more ground clearance. So in the front, I was sitting at 26.25, and I'm actually somehow at 27.25 inch now. So I gained an inch of clearance or ride height in the front. In the back was at 27.25, now it's an even 28. So I gained 3/4 of an inch. So having an extra bit of ground clearance is really nice, especially for that step-in height. You don't have to sink so down when you're trying to hop in the car. And then this being like, you know, a utility wagon, it gives it more rugged appearance as well. Overall guys, if you like what I did to the Camry, please like and subscribe. I got a lot more content coming out, tips and tricks for different cars, as well as more upgrades for this Camry, so stay tuned.